Welcome back to the crossover.
Or the home menu to be exact.
Welcome to the 3DS's home menu.
Mm-hmm. Where we celebrate Ace Attorney 6. Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
What's Ace Attorney 6?
Well, Professor, you know how you kind of had to retire as the main hero of your franchise? Me, I kind of came back stronger than ever, starting with 5, and then 6, and then my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather finally got his games released overseas.
At least your daughter didn't fuck everything up.
Oh yeah, no, Trucy's very helpful in that regard. Anyway, go on.
You have a lot to thank her for, you know, douchebag.
I woke to find myself in a forest. A moment later, I saw what looked like Miss Faye being chased by a strange rogue group. I was able to go to Miss Faye's aid just in the nick of time.
Ah, Nick, Phoenix.
Could this strange forest also be a part of Labyrinthia?
No.
My daughter's so obsessed with sweets and that she doesn't focus on anything. We seem to have lost our pursuers for the moment. We must not squander this chance. Let us make haste, Miss Faye. Why am I recording this message? We're on the run.
Also, I'll give Dick Layton this. He doesn't discriminate in which of his children he's shit to.
No. I believe
he's shit to all of them.
I believe in equal opportunity. If I think you're an idiot, you're an idiot.
Where the hell are these including these plants and fungi?
I will say it's an interesting touch that they gave special animations for the places you look for hint coins.
Weird.
But yes, welcome to the Forbidden Forest. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No.
They certainly are bunched together, aren't they, Miss Faye? It seems they can block out most of the sun, too. Good.
I just realized that Maya's, this kind of text box isn't paced for me, so...
Mm-hmm. Also, I saw clear holes between trees, so not really blocking the sun.
This is the true crossover. We swapped sidekicks. Should be safe here. Miss Faye, are you hurt? I say, smiling.
It is a joke, but I'm pretty sure that there was the intent on part of the developers. Yeah.
Nope, I'm right as rain. Thank you for saving me back there. You look like you're all back to normal, Professor. Not as shiny and way more talkative. Although you were pretty, vocal for someone who was supposed to be dead.
What do you mean by back to normal? Are you saying I'm funny?
You were turned into gold, Professor. Someone cast a magic spell on you.
What magic did you take? Cocaine?
You were very valuable at that point in time. So much so that a guy pawned off...
Of course I'm valuable. I'm a mega actor.
No, I mean a guy literally pawned off your arm.
I love how Layton's reaction is actually of discomfort to this. That's kind of breaking a bit the character.
Yep.
Let me refresh your memory. You remember the witch that appeared when we were in Mr. Belduke's house, don't you?
His worldview is being shattered to you.
Also, Layton literally had to sell an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
So you're saying that was when a magic spell was cast on me?
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
That's right. You were super golden and super shiny.
That's not funny!
Well, you know how it is, too. Usually when you have a new writer writing a character, even for messages, sometimes some cracks might show when it comes to not being the usual writing team.
I wouldn't say this is a crack. No.
No, I mean, what Theo was talking about, how the reaction of discomfort seemed a bit off character.
No, he didn't say it seemed out of character.
Okay. I'll explain during the next puzzle.
Sadly, I do not.
He has no memory of what happened while he was a statue.
To tell you the truth, I have no recollection of what happened to me then. It seems I lost consciousness immediately after the witch appeared.
One tends to do that when dying.
When I regained consciousness, I was already in this forest.
It's not even his first time.
Wait, someone made a statue of me and sold it without my permission.
You literally were the statue.
Do you think maybe they carried you here after the trial?
After the trial? Then that must mean...
I was accused of murdering you. It happens a lot anyway. You were the unfortunate victim of witchcraft in that trial, Professor. I'm a spirit medium, so that's not really my thing.
Oh, spirit medium! Oh, can you let me talk to my old dead girlfriend? No.
Well,
Silent treatment. Okay,
do you have a picture of her to
I
show, Maya?
I believe that was actually a very appropriate reaction to what I just did.
That would be quite funny. Maya channeling Claire, and Maya's body morphs into a Layton-esque design.
God.
Well, given some of the scrapped concepts for this game, apparently Ace Attorney characters turning into Layton-esque character designs was initially an idea for the crossover.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Maybe they didn't bring up the fact that Maya's a spirit medium in this game because then Layton would have an existential crisis.
Again, that's just kind of been a bother to me, though, because Maya being a spirit medium was kind of an integral thing to the original trilogy.
You say that one of my arms broke off?
You right?
Yep, the right arm. Snappo.
Have fun
That's
with...
not funny. That's not funny again.
Have fun with her as your assistant, Professor. Now you know what I have to suffer.
Yep, that's right.
Task of magic. I wasn't done. I wasn't finished yet.
This is the Maya experience.
And then Luke cried his little eyes out, and then the parrot on Luke's head testified its little beak off. This is pretty normal where I'm from.
Yeah.
What kind of place do you live?
America.
Yes.
America.
According to the Western canon, that's the truth. So.
We live in America.
My apologies, Miss May. Had I had the strength at the time, I could have been of more help.
Against what? The magic spell?
No way, Professor. You saved me just a moment ago.
You see, Professor, in America, parrots talk.
What do you think the parasite?
And then Professor's like, actually, they do kind of talk here as well, especially because I have a friend who can talk to them. So.
What else piqued your interest, by the way?
That's a very good question.
That's a good question.
Is it now?
Nick managed to prove my innocence, but I still ended up being thrown into the fire.
Had a bit
Being
of
thrown, you ended up in the cage.
You ended
hero.
up-
Dived head first!
You ended up in there yourself, you idiot. You were found innocent, yet still sent to the fire. Is there something you're not telling
That's
me?
my
Yeah,
story, and I'm sticking
This is
to
the
it.
thing. I originally got the feeling that the anime cutscenes were done before and then the rest of the game script after, but this is suggesting otherwise.
Oh, trust me, Tio. When we get to the final case, there are several points that I will be pointing out don't match up with what's going on in the game. But to be fair, that has more to do with my theory that something really got messed up with the ending, which we still have a ways to go since we're more so at the halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's strange. There must have been more to that cage I was trapped in, like a trick or something?
A trick? Other than the trick you're playing on my mind?
Yeah, the cage dropped down through the chamber and then came to a stop just above the wagon.
It's so nice to see
Also, I
Layton
feel
getting
like
along
if
well with
Layton-
Maya.
I also feel like if Layton tried to dive more into the spirit medium thing, his whole logic and reason thing will, his brain's gonna implode.
Also, I think another priority would be... Okay, to be fair, this is after Miracle Mask, otherwise I would probably suggest to contact, his dead childhood friend.
Oh yeah, remember, he knows that his childhood friend is actually alive now. He just went crazy and
Yeah,
tried
again,
to
this
kill
is
him.
after Miracle Mask tactics.
You know, I've noticed that a
Seems
lot
there
of...
is more to that fire chamber than I originally thought.
You know, now that you mention it, Tio, I noticed that a lot of people close to Layton end up going crazy and trying to kill him.
It's the Spider-Man effect.
Yeah.
And when I saw those things, I tried to get away. But as you saw back there, they found me. Thought I was a goner.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to stab her, and given what we find out later, I have no idea why.
Yeah, they did not really have a reason for it.
I mean, they did stop? Like, they kind of just didn't even chase after them either, so I don't know if it was like a whole bit they were trying to do.
Well, the
That's
cutscenes.
understand.
The cutscene shows Layton parrying off some kind of blade with a stick or something. We'll touch base more on that later.
Yeah, that's right. It's really weird though, because they even comment on it directly after by saying it's like, wait, they're not doing anything.
Pretty
There's
much.
something the matter, Miss Faye.
It's Nick.
It's like I said, starting with this halfway point is where some of the cracks start to really show with the game. But we're not into Terabad territory.
He must be worried sick. I mean, I was thrown into the fire right before his eyes.
And he has pretty much spent the better half of his life keeping you safe, so,
He's also, like, mourned you over the last couple of days, too. So, like...
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm also concerned about Luke.
Oh, Luke actually thought I was a witch because I supposedly killed you.
That's an aggressive child.
However, I believe Luke and Mr. Wright, God, I taught him poorly, are certain to sense something is amiss and solve this mystery. We're sure to all meet up again soon.
Yeah, you're right, Professor.
I will say this, one thing that is kind of a bit of a shame for me is that I know we technically get it, but it never feels like we get a cool pinnacle moment where it's Phoenix and Layton together. Like, we get a scene, okay, we get the Maya and Luke bit, obviously. We got Phoenix and Luke, we got Layton and Maya. Aside from, I guess, that moment, but even still, Maya and technically Luke are there, I don't think we ever really get a moment where it's just Phoenix and Layton, surprisingly.
Since we're on the subject... Oh, sorry, go on.
And then you, Miss Faye, were transported here from the courtroom under the illusion of having been put to the fire.
You're saying, Shirai?
Like, since we're on the subject, just very quick. The trailer for this, like the initial reveal trailer, was very hype. It's also nothing like what we've got.
Mm-hmm. More on that
At
later.
all.
I think we
Like-
can talk about it.
How'd they manage to find us so fast? What should we do, Professor?
They're standing there! Menacingly!
Menacingly!
This reminds me of a puzzle.
Yes.
But we already used a puzzle to escape them. Can that work a
Say
second
the line,
time?
dumbass.
It appears they were lying in ambush.
How dare you
Just
listen to this
waiting
conversation?
for the dialogue to become important.
I'm afraid an altercation here is unavoidable.
Alright, time for fisticuffs then.
Punch you straight in the gabba.
You remember your fighting moves from the fighting game, right, Maya?
These guys look like they've been hitting the gym. They're a lot bigger than the others.
She just played around wildly and then tripped over Jovah.
Tio, those moves are able to hurt even Galactus. Surely that's gotta do something here.
That's resistance, not skill.
Indeed. Leave this to me. I will take them down with my moves. Now please step back, Miss Faye.
The famous British martial art, I guess.
Knock him into next week, Professor.
Not to worry, I shall initiate the Layton groinal attack.
Now, just what is all the commotion?
Who could this be?
Two assholes ganged up on me and Maya.
That sounds like a fair fight if it's 2-on-2.
Oh. Hello.
You were given a task to carry out, were you not?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, the frame rate.
Yeah. So what exactly do you think you're doing? Answer me.
And I
Try
assure
to
you,
fight out the frame rate.
I
Yeah,
assure
it's a
you,
game thing.
I assure you
It
that's not
probably
my.
is Wolverine emulation.
No. That's not my capture
No.
card acting. That's actually that happens in
Yeah,
the game.
that's what I mean. It probably the game being emulated will make it work better.
Huh.
Wait a minute. Great Witch.
Give us a great wish.
The gloves are freaking cool, by the way. What?
But
It
yeah.
feels more different design from the one seen in the cutscene. Like, physically wise, it's the same, but the color distribution is different.
Well, okay, wait, are you referring to the cutscene where Layton was turned to gold, or
Even at the beginning of the game, Jovah.
Well, to be fair, she has
the game showcases the fact that their robes are completely, darkened, like a blue dark or black and everything. In here, it has some shades of white. Yeah, look at that. There's a lighter shade on different places, and the hat is purple with the four letter figures on it.
The reason I ask is because in the earlier cutscenes with her, she's more so shrouded in shadow to the point where that eyeball on her forehead actually glows hot red, essentially. It's only after the cutscene where Layton's turned to gold that we actually get to see what she looks like not shrouded in shadow, which is more consistent with what we're seeing here right now.
Maybe this is just her casual outfit, quote unquote.
Also, Maya was about to say a very naughty word.
Yes.
While pouting.
My, this one has some fight in here. Relax, I do not plan to harm you two.
I just wish to add you to my harem.
Okay.
Not that kind of visual novel, miss.
I mean, let's be honest, she brought us to her weird forest with her weird people dressed up in a weird cultish outfit, like what you would see at one of those,
What harems are you watching,
Also, have you
Jovah?
ever mentioned that this music in particular sounds a lot like Bugs Bunny Lost in Time?
This marks the third time we have now met. Tell me, what exactly are you planning?
Can you get an answer this time?
instead of turning me into gold.
What? Professor, you two have met before?
Don't interrupt me!
Met 3 times?
She was about to answer the question. Yes, I first met her in London, prior to arriving in Labyrinthia, of course.
Caused a lot of damage there.
That's right.
What the hell is in that glove you're wearing?
It's a gauntlet, and
It's
it looks
cool.
cool.
It's a gauntlet.
This is
Medieval
your hand.
Shit.
Looks stupid.
Hey, it's your hand.
Layton's not a fan. My hand was cut off, so of course I'm not going to fancy golden hands at the minute.
Now, enough. Stand down.
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom.
God, they're
Please
bad at
don't
their
hurt
job. These two are considered guests. You are not to lay a finger on them. Is that clear?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Okay, I'm guessing the reason why they attacked Maya before is
love
because
how,
they consider, not part of the equation, maybe?
Again, given what we find out later, it
It's still
raises
weird,
a few questions, but that's till later.
Make sure the rest of the shades get that message.
This is one of those things where you can tell who one of the story writers was, because in typical original trilogy Layton fashion, this game is more concerned with trying to entertain and than making perfect sense.
Okay, I'll discuss what you just said when the important stuff happens towards the end.
Yes,
Sure.
mistress. Oh, as you command, O great witch.
Sims!
More like great bitch, anyway.
Great witch.
There is no need to be alarmed. You may relax.
I mean, I'm only the great witch that everyone fears. What's to be afraid of?
I mean, someone else wrote me that way. That's not my problem.
You literally
I'm
turned a
afraid
man
I
to
cannot
gold.
oblige. Not as long as you're here. Tell me, what are you?
You know, from what I hear, you're a big fan of solving puzzles.
Oh,
and
you're
it's-
not
It's
a
a simple-
scapegoat.
Are you not?
It's a simple question.
That's a puzzle for you to figure
Wait,
out.
no,
You
no,
know that.
no, you are not getting out of this. I asked you a simple question.
Then, by all means, go ahead. You are free to investigate the Eldwich Woods to your heart's content.
Ah, right, they're called the Eldwich Woods.
Funny.
I'm pretty sure I did read that as Eldritch, though.
Okay.
You know, I wonder if maybe it's a play on words with that.
It is.
The Eldwich Woods.
The answer to your questions are here. You're free to seek them.
Oh
Alright.
boy.
Alright, Maya, jump her and take that ridiculous mask off her face. And you do not plan on having us captured.
That's not suspicious at all.
You'll have to excuse the Shade's earlier behavior. It can be a bit overzealous at times.
Yeah, like, what I thought Joe would
I'm
be
not
like,
excusing
we're instructed into defending the territory from strangers at all costs.
And again,
maybe that's the reason.
I'll just say this, given what we learned later, surely you could have told your men that before we ran into them. Since again, if Layton had showed up, they might have killed Maya and they're... Well, let's just say that would have thrown a wrench into things.
They were simply doing what was requested of them. Their task, as they call it. Anyone lost in these woods is to be made a member of the Shade family, as it were.
And that involves
Right.
stabbing you to death, somehow.
Oh, so that's
This is
like
Resident Evil
Cult
7 all
101
over
right
again.
there.
Yep. And again, Shuri,
Maybe-
and Shuri, they all worship the ground that she walks on. Again, her own personal harem.
You see,
A
Shiro,
member of
you see, Shiro, the Great Wish is going to become the sixth girl in Nyota's harem.
Oh my
Oh
god.
god. Like I said, you should seek out the answers for yourselves.
Also, Maya, a member of the Shade, what do you think it means? We saw them a bit ago.
But that's the thing,
Now, if you'll
though.
excuse me, I have another engagement with a visitor of mine.
Oh boy, that sounds
Okay.
exciting.
Meetings are pretty boring, actually.
A visitor.
Until next time, Professor Herschel Layton.
If that's your real name.
Stay true to the 8 disciplines that we're just beginning to know.
Havoosh!
Did I say
See?
my name?
See, told you.
She disappeared.
Now that's something that knowing what happens later makes no sense.
We'll get to it, okay?
But
Yeah.
okay, no, go.
So Professor, the Great Witch they mentioned.
Must be
Yeah.
her.
It's like I said. It's like I said. You can tell the developers are trying their hardest to make sure things keep misused and try to keep you guessing. Problem is, they didn't think things entirely through.
I will say this. Part of why I'm not as hot. Well, again. It's not even like I hate this chapter, it's just like, well. This chapter is where things definitely tip more into the Layton scale of things. Like, I hope you enjoyed the trials that we got, because starting with this chapter, we won't be getting them for a few of the next few chapters. It's just full-on investigation. And again, more so in the Layton style done. That is not inherently a problem, but again, it's all the little bits that will roll up, snowball, and culminate by the end.
Also, what Maya just said, I wonder if Professor Gaster is involved in the project.
Maybe. Honestly, though, again, one thing I think was a missed opportunity was seeing Maya get turned into a shade to see how that bit actually goes about. Instead, apparently the Shades were just going to turn Maya into a Shade, even though, again, we saw Layton paring away a weapon, so, like, is the process that you
Yeah.
get stabbed and then you become a Shade?
But yeah, that's the thing, Shiro. Like me and Jovah have been hinting, and we'll talk more about this later. The original story was going to be radically different, but then development troubles caused by things we will talk about later caused them to have to change the story in a hurry, apparently.
If I recall correctly, Jovah did discuss it at least a part of that in part 0.
Let me put it like this.
Been
Think-
a while, admittedly.
Think of this crossover like the Titanic's maiden voyage. It is fantastic up until you get to the point of the iceberg hitting, in which case, yeah, it kind of all goes to hell. But again, we're not to
Yeah,
that
no
point
shit.
yet. We are not to that point yet, so for now we can still relatively enjoy stuff. I may have a bit of grumblings about this part, but for the most part we still got some nice clever writing, and again, Layton and Maya now interacting.
And since we'll be working together, I'll act as your temporary Luke. Right you are, Professor.
And later
Never
is like,
say-
please,
Never
sure,
say
send
that
me.
again.
No, sure. You have to say that final line in a especially British accent.
Well, it kind of was in a British accent there, given, you know.
More British than usual.
Ah.
Well done. Thank you very much. Look, I mean, Miss Faye.
Aren't you all, Professor?
Now
Better,
then, let us
I
begin our
guess.
investigation.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Professor.
All
I
right.
mean, I could do it in an American voice, trying to sound like a British boy.
No.
Alright, update on one
All
mystery,
right.
the one about the storyteller.
And the
Actually
one about
two.
the statue.
Well, obviously, to be fair, yeah.
Since Layton's
Alright.
been absent, Espel's father, the storyteller, writes the story that controls the fate of all Labyrinthians, considers the presence of the professor to be a form of corruption.
It would seem that the storyteller has removed me from the story that git. Where is this tale of his going?
Yes, that's what you get, Layton, for interfering with my narrative.
Yeah, you literally got your ass made gold.
Are you sure he's not Akira Hino or Sutakumi?
Oh, well,
That's the thing. I am the fusion of both.
that would explain a lot. It was none other than the professor having supposedly been turned to gold who saved Maya from her fate. He says
God,
he
they
had
put those
lost
two in a blender.
consciousness after his confrontation with the Great Witch.
A gold statue of me? That's something I'd quite like to see with my own eyes, so I can sue the person for profiting off my image.
Not just your image, your literal body and soul, but,
Alright.
Nobody criticizes my story, Dick
Anyway,
Layton.
go on, Tio.
To mention very quickly to what you said before, I specified that using the term Pedro about breaking character, not being necessarily out of character. Out of character is when, you know, a critique is made about not feeling as in a character should behave correctly under their personality or anything, but in a more negative way. Breaking character would be essentially having a character having a distinct kind of personality, instead, you know, showing cracks and showcasing a bit more human emotion. Again, an example of this would be Project Cross Zone 2, where, to make very long story short, one of your party members is Dante from the first Devil May Cry game, which has a more stoic attitude instead of being the jokey guy from Devil May Cry 3.
Sure.
But because he ran into that Virgil alive, he at that point breaks character and showcases actual discomfort and, you know, surprise of that, and even the other characters pointed out. That's the thing. We tend to see Layton in most of the games, outside of very specific occasions like Lost Future, always maintaining, you know,
Composure.
nerves of steel, you know, in some kind of way. Very rarely he actually cracks up, you know, and lets an emotional leap. So this actually was
Sure.
such an occasion.
Oh, I
That's what
understand
meant.
that. I feel like a better way to phrase it would be like a moment of vulnerability.
All the
Potentially,
same,
but it's
though.
played more for comedy because again, he's like, oh, a statue made of me or something.
Yeah, I think Tio's point is like, oh, it's interesting the few times we get to see Layton's, well, his mental shields kind of falter a bit.
Well, yeah. It's like I've explained when we did our Lost Future playthrough. The reason the moments in that game where Layton genuinely sounds shook and disturbed, the reason those moments hit hard is actually because of the fact that that's normal, not normal. Like if Layton had always, it was part of the plan. If Layton at all didn't have a constant moment of composure like Theo just described, then those moments in Lost Future, as well as this one, wouldn't really work as well. It's exactly because of the fact that they're uncommon that they hit hard when they happen.
So anyway, talking to the Shade here, we're reestablishing that again, the Shades were chasing Maya to make her part of the Shade family.
And each of them a specific task they are actually instructed to follow religiously.
I'll just say this about the Shades here. I don't hate them as characters. However, they fall into one of the things I'm not too fond of when we're commentating on this. That is that the game does not really differentiate them much. Oh sure, it will later tell you, oh, this one's a girl, this one's a guy, but for the most part, their character mostly amounts to, we do what the Great Witch does, we worship the Great Witch, and we do our tasks so that we may return. But
I feel like that's kind of the point.
it is, yeah.
I'm seriously glad the professor came along when he did.
It's a sort
Go ahead,
of
Jovah.
purgatory, basically.
My only issue is that when we're commenting on this sort of stuff, it makes it tough to know who should voice which shade here and there.
I suppose for now, considering we don't know exactly anything's fair game.
I will
It's
say,
kind of like when an episode of Detective Conan showcases the silhouette of a criminal, and it's the same generic one, you know, mostly slanky and potentially with a more masculine kind of face. But then it turns out that he's like an old woman, but he's very short or something similar to that.
My task is to assist all newly initiated shades. I must continue with my task. I will say this. I don't hate the shades, it's just that, compared to all the vibrant, cool, and varied characters that we see within the walls of Labyrinthia, again, I do get that is the point of the shades here. It's just that a lot of screen time gets dedicated to them.
Also, since that shade was instructed to welcome the others, when he turns to Layton, he says, "Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless."
Damn.
The shades were on me the minute I set foot here. But they never went after you. Why is that?
Main character
Because I'm the
unity.
title character.
Why doesn't that ever
It's
help
true.
me?
I seem to recall waking up inside a cell of
Because
sorts.
it's funnier.
Oh.
Because you're a defense attorney.
Because you're made to suffer, Phoenix.
But it turns out Layton was in a cell.
Well, it's because there's a kick me sign on the defendant's bench.
Edgeworth himself literally thinks that in Trials and Tribulations.
Fortunately,
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
it was not a cell of the metallic variety this day. Take a look over there. Do you see that entrance covered in vines?
Oh, I get it. So you must have hack and slash your way to freedom.
Like Dante would.
Who?
Let's just say it's a person me and
complicated.
Maya have met on a few occasions.
Well, I wouldn't say I hacked or slashed anything as such.
Oh my god,
Oh, yeah,
see the layout?
I've
This
been-
is the prison where Knuckles gets sent into in Sonic Chronicles.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, I heard of him. He was that guy. He was that black-haired guy with a coat with the British flag on it.
Even as a Sonic fan, I know nothing of that game's plot.
Oh, the soundtrack is gonna be a
Anyway,
blast to share for your ears,
Puzzle
trust me.
52.
Oh, that's just
fine.
fine.
A number of
That's a-
intricately woven vines have formed a fence blocking my path. Simply cutting on just one of the vines should unravel the entire fence and clear a path. Which vine should be cut?
Think nice
I
and
think you're
hard
right.
on this one.
That's the thing, sure. I tried playing through that game. That game is so mind-numbingly boring. I just couldn't even bring myself
And
to
like I
it.
said,
Honestly,
my-
I owned it. I played it for an hour and never again.
Okay.
I plan on recording it, so I'm going to have to actually get through it at some point. But damn,
Well,
that game is
I know that
boring.
someone was developing, a quote-unquote remastering in a sense of polishing up a bit, the kinks, but I don't know if it actually went anywhere.
Okay.
But again, General Shiri, the sound design of that game is atrocious.
Here's my biggest problem with it. The fact that everything has to be done with the touchscreen. It doesn't sound bad initially, but trust me, everything has to be done with the touchscreen.
Oh yeah, that is also a problem, Joe. But to me, the biggest problem is who the hell? I'll let them. Go on.
Oh, you sure showed that vine who's boss, Professor.
A single precise cut is far more efficient than swinging around haphazardly.
Again, tell
But
that to
one
Devil
of
May
those is
Cry
more
fans.
After I
So-
freed myself, I began to investigate the forest. Not long after that, I heard someone cry out.
Wow, Layton would be great at playing Rising.
Yeah, you mean me.
Yes, you.
You kind of find yourself in a lot of these situations, don't you, Maya?
Right you are, Miss May. Glad you were okay. Oh, fuck rhyming again.
And okay, I was good, sir.
Maybe you should be a bard, Professor.
Mm,
He conceals his instrument inside his head.
No.
Yes.
you gotta take the hat off, Professor.
Show us what's underneath.
So I guess
And
you're
then-
still
and-
in the
and then
middle of
I'll-
that forest investigation, huh?
And then a shit ton of yellow locks show up in chains right around.
I love
Wouldn't-
that one.
Wouldn't it be Black Cyclops for
Yeah.
Layton?
Yeah, black. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on now. I gotta cut these puzzles down to size with the power of my mind.
Oh
This is like
boy.
a-
Right? Yeah, this is gonna
Spirit
go-
medium, go burr.
Maya solving puzzles with her mind. Why do I get the feeling this is not going to go particularly well?
But it will be funny.
Props for the effort, I suppose.
Oh, well, okay. So basically what you're saying is that the Kumis are like, you know what would be funny, Hino-san? Let's have Maya screw up at puzzles while Layton laughs.
That'll be hilarious.
I guess we're in the Smurf village now.
Do you think this is where the Shades live? It looks kind of like a village.
And up to the right there, you can see Papa Shade. Then you can see...
It would appear so. They seem to lead a very simple lifestyle.
And in there you can see Shadette.
Shadette.
Well, that's the
He
thing,
looks-
Shiro. Go on.
But they look so magical and fantastical.
That's the thing, Shiro. In the Smurf village, there's only one female Smurf, and her name is Smurfette.
Actually,
Yeah.
they
Even then, she's more. She actually an homunculus because she was created artificially from Gargamel.
Now that you mention it,
Yeah.
they don't appear to be capable of using magic, do they?
So all Smurfs are like naturally male.
Okay. There is
yeah.
actually, they did actually make a female Smurf who's genuine, wears pink. I forget what her name is. Let me see.
Was that in the show or in the movies? Where was that?
I think that was in the show. Wait, hold on.
Basically, Shiro, we were talking about arms. That's basically what most of the time the Smurfs is. A Smurfette and an entire village of a harem, basically.
Huh.
No, I'm not kidding, Shiro. Every single Smurf, except from Papa Smurf, has the hots for her.
Ah,
So, yeah,
okay.
it's literally, when you think about it, it's kind of a harem show when you get right down to
So
it.
it's like that one Family Guy joke about the whole thing.
Okay, so there is a more tomboyish Smurf called Sassette. That's her in the pink overalls there.
Ah.
And apparently
Must be
there's
more
also
recent then.
an old female Smurf called
Ah, okay.
Nanny, but yeah, other than Smurfette. Oh, I guess...
Was that in the original cartoon? Or was it like...
Considering very
It's either that or the
maybe
comic.
Peyo created them. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid watching the cartoon, I do remember just being mostly just Smurfette. I like to said she was
Oh.
played by Gargamel. Go on.
Mixed force on ladders.
Oh no.
There are female Smurfs in the new 2021 series. but-
Makes sense. You know,
Oh,
new series.
yeah.
You know, let's try to diversify a bit more at least.
Okay, yeah. Probably comic stuff,
going.
yeah, based on those.
Oh, coin!
I'm trying to remember if Sassette ever showed up in the the old TV series anyway.
Yeah, Shiro, no, that joke that you saw in that Family Guy, no, there's a reason why that joke was made. It basically boils down to that. Every Smurf has the hots for Smurfette. That's basically how it is.
I mean, when she's literally the only female in town.
Alright,
More hints
got-
going.
Gotta propagate the species.
Which
So-
makes me wonder, how did they do... Well, okay, apparently the presence of Smurfs like Sassette and Nanny do imply that I guess maybe females are around, just rarer. Kind of like with how
It's
Trent...
one of those things that Peyo did not
Basically,
plot that much.
female Smurfs are rare, so we gotta take advantage whenever one appears. Sorry, that's how shit goes.
God. Reminds me of how Transformers used to make it a plot point that female Transformers were rare due to...
That was like the
something.
second writer that came onto the Marvel run, and
Oh
even
my-
then it was
oh
just.
all I can
Jovah.
do is carry out my tasks the
Yeah,
best
that's
I
true.
can.
Yeah,
I hope I'll be able to return to the town. Return? What do you mean? I am not too sure myself. It is something I was told when I arrived. The Great Witch keeps a record of all the tasks we successfully complete. Then, when our accomplishments outnumber our failures, she will consider returning us to the town.
Again, it's kind of like a purgatory of sorts. Which makes the point of Labyrinth a bit more of a paradise, quote unquote, more poignant.
That is what I believe, and that is why I continue to toil away at my tasks.
So it's interesting, though. These shades are referring to returning, though, which means they aren't witches, or so Maya thinks.
From the sound of his voice, it would seem this particular shade is male.
So yeah, he can't be a witch.
However, according to what you told me earlier, all witches here are female.
Apparently, yes.
So then who exactly are these shades?
And remember, we must have been seeing these
Not
guys
me.
as early as London, because their hoods match the hood of that red-eyed figure we saw in London.
My, how very direct.
Maya tends to be
A
like that.
shade is a shade. Nothing more, nothing less.
Huh.
Yeah, that wasn't really helpful.
Perhaps you could tell us what your particular task is. That I cannot tell you. No shades' tasks are closely guarded secrets.
Oh,
To get to
so you're...
flashbacks to the. I'm starting to flashback to Hot Fuzz.
For a moment, I thought you were going to say actually the foul seat to you.
Yeah. The greater good.
The greater good.
Oh, that's where that came from.
How's the task going? Working hard?
Huh? Oh, task? Well, duh, of course we are.
Yeah, we're totally shades. I dress in purple just like you.
Yeah, in a bourgeois.
This is a new uniform we're all gonna be wearing soon. Yeah. Speaking of which, what's your task?
To try out this new flavoured water. My task is to prepare food for everyone. I'm actually trying to come up with the menu for today. I've already got the drink sorted. I wouldn't exactly call my cooking appetizing or edible, but I must do what our mistress commands.
I would think cooking needs to be edible.
Remind us not to stop by for dinner.
Maya refusing food. You know your cooking's bad when it gets to that point.
Did you say something?
Me? Nope, not a thing. Hey, good luck. Try not to blow up the kitchen.
What's a kitchen?
I'm sure that concept is still known.
Yeah.
Anyway, off we go to Shades' Village West.
Which looks more like a temple.
With ruins. It looks like they're gathering around for some reason.
Reunion.
Ah.
Come in, Ellie. Come in, Johnson.
Sapphira.
It's just like that bit in Hot Fuzz now.
Also, Maya thinking about Warsmith now. Why?
Well,
Under better
because
circumstances, this tree would be most ideal for enjoying a nice cup of tea under its shade.
That's all you think, Professor. Puzzles and tea.
Well, tea's good for you, and puzzles are great for the brain.
Yeah, but tea can't bring you back from the dead.
You don't know that. You haven't tried
Yeah,
every
we
single tea, have you?
haven't tried yet, admittedly.
Fascinating. I'd like nothing more than to try that try, but I must move on. The Shades' great grand.
I like to
I
say
think some of these are
Sorry.
actually pastries, Shiroi.
I'm terrible at my task. The worst.
Hey, what was that, Joe?
I'm terrible at following orders. And the next step will be my fault we ever see a situation in our hands. I feel sick just thinking about it.
Oh dear.
A serious situation. What kind of task do you have exactly?
I can't say. The only thing I can say is that I'm terrible at it.
Wow,
Is it
this
keeping
really is
secrets,
purgatory.
perchance? Is it keeping secrets that you're bad at, perchance?
Why are you so nervous anyway?
It's because she's watching. Always watching. She sits up there in her mansion and just keeps on watching.
Wow, that sounds like the boss from hell. Always job reviewing you no matter where you are.
And constantly watching your every move.
Get ready.
Even when you're in your own house.
This is freaking Amazon. Mansion? You mean the Great Witch lives nearby?
On the other side of the river. It's quite far, but she can see her very well.
So what you're saying, Dwibs, is that this is all just an extension of Jeff Bezos' latest idea?
Yes.
Why not?
I wouldn't be
We
surprised.
got into the harem business.
So it's across the river then.
See what happened, Jovah, was
Hey,
after his attempt to conquer South Park failed, he decided to try Labyrinthia instead.
Quite a shift.
Professor, we're sure to run into her again there. It's where she lives after all.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, makes sense because South Park's parody of Jeff Bezos can use mind power, so that would work perfectly here.
Oh
actually.
god.
The best course of action may be to try and make our way there. There are still many questions to be answered.
Yeah, then we'll finally see if she's the real deal or not. Right, Professor?
If she tries to kill us, that means she is the real deal.
That's right, Miss Faye. Let us make our way across the river.
Neat.
Red Flower Lake.
Oh boy, a bridge.
Over the
Okay,
River
buddy.
Wye.
You know what that means.
Gotta pay the troll toll if we're gonna get into the boys' hole.
Classic.
Whoa, check out the beautiful scenery, Professor.
It looks
Why do you look
Oh my god,
scared, Maya?
those walls, it kinda is a bit like Lord Run.
Yeah.
This is quite an open space, isn't it?
This is the Dark Souls of puzzle solving.
Sure.
You can make
why
a
not?
You can make a Pokemon or Sonic game at some point. Looking across the river, the Great Witch's mansion is slightly visible.
Yeah, you can just about make out the roof from here. Hey, do you think the wall behind it is indeed a wall? Could be Labyrinthia's outer wall?
Which would make us some of the first citizens to have escaped from that wall.
Still makes me wonder how Carmine managed to do it.
That is
Yeah.
quite possible. Which would mean these Eldwich Woods must be located directly outside Labyrinthia.
Interesting.
How did he find out about the place in the first place?
Because we ended up here.
I think the game might explain that later. It might not.
Well, we did a conversation that mentioned that Carmine was supposed to be the apprentice baker in Paddy's house.
Well, But yeah, I'm sure he was asking about how he found out about this place, though.
Ah, okay.
The people in Labyrinthia said that nothing exists outside of the town, didn't they?
Yeah, and again, we literally got dragged in here through a storybook, so yeah.
Yes, quite. I too have heard the townsfolk such assertions.
So we're in a storybook inside a wall that supposedly nobody can escape.
In fact, the very gate we used to enter Labyrinthia disappeared as soon as we passed it.
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened. I guess we can assume that the driver was also a witch.
A wizard did it. I believe there must be some kind of a trick behind it.
When is there not a trick in this land?
I don't know.
It looks like we've quite a lot to discuss with Little Miss Great Witch, don't we?
Little Miss Great Witch.
That we do. Let us continue, Miss May.
Again, with Danny DeVito as Professor Layton.
No!
No, that could be interesting.
Fine actor is not me.
Heh.
Besides,
What flowers are
who
these?
should play?
Yeah.
Who should play Layton other than Layton?
Layton. Sometimes other people have to portray
Oh, yeah.
you when you're past your prime. Yes, Pedro?
Shira, that reminds me, Shira. Me and Wes were actually talking about this yesterday.
Yes?
Me and Wes were actually talking about this yesterday. Since you didn't think Rowan Atkinson would be a particularly great pick for live-action Layton. What about Ewan McGregor as live-action Layton?
I could totally see him working for that role.
I mean, he's not English, he's Scottish, but he can probably do a good London accent.
Yeah.
I guess I could see maybe Benedict Cumberbatch.
I mean, his accent was fine when he was Obi-Wan.
I mean, Ewan McGregor is very charismatic, and he has a really good smile, nice face. So yeah, that works well for Layton.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I was just checking to see if there were any puzzles I might be missing.
More like hidden, but yeah.
Oh, puzzle.
Oh no, the bridge is out.
Been completely destroyed. All that remains are a few bits of debris and a small boat floating across the shore.
Shimmery, shimmery.
Are you two looking for a way to cross the river?
Yes, that's right. Is there no other way across?
If there's a way across, I sure wish I knew what it was. I'm sort of
I mean, we
having
could
a
swim
mini
across.
crisis here.
I mean, you could swim across.
Why did I have to get stuck with the task of reporting the daily task report to the Great Witch?
Oh,
Granted,
yeah, you have a shit job.
Granted, I get to bask in the presence of the mistress and take in her gorgeous visage, which is actually pretty amazing.
I don't judge it. You know, simping is a fine art.
Like I said, personal harem.
Fucking mainless bitch.
But being unable to cross the river, I can't even carry out my task now, let alone adore her unparalleled beauty.
Oh well, you know what they say. You either sink or swim. Hope you brought your bathing suits. We're swimming across.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Or we can
dang.
use you as a float.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Oh god, they're getting along well now. I can't swim.
We'll have to find another way.
Wait a sec. Professor, can you not swim?
Yeah, I don't think we ever saw that happening in the other games. I guess it's implied that he easily can, probably, you know, education and anything.
Oh, here we go.
It's okay. I bet you could flip your hat over and ride it like a boat. It looks like it could float on water really good.
Oh,
Do you know how
boy.
my hat's not that big, you know? Besides, this hat's important to me.
Why do you never take that thing off anyway? Don't you need to, like, wash it or
Because
something?
I don't.
Do you have like 12 hours, Maya? Because it's
It's like
story.
that character. It's gonna
There's
get
nothing
character
to
on
do.
stream. I hope you like long stories.
I do not think using my hat as a boat would be the best idea this way.
Let's be honest, the only reason he doesn't like to swim is because it would risk his hat getting swept off.
Drowning in his own trauma.
Yes.
I'll go across and fetch stuff. I should be able to jump across rather easily using the bits of
sure.
debris on the water.
Well, Shiva, remember, have you ever noticed that every time Layton feels sad or disturbed by anything, he immediately grabs his hat?
Yeah.
Like that's exactly it, because it's like it's his own personal way of like, Claire, help me. Like it's his own like mantra, basically.
It's like, oh, here's this character with this really quirky hat. Isn't that cute? It's full of my trauma.
Yep, basically.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. I don't know what the idea was. I was talking about the professor's
Little
stuff.
mention about the jumping Super Mario style.
Well,
Puzzle
Okay.
53. Touch the gaps. Help me make a bridge for Maya by knocking the logs into the water. Next to the logs, and touch the hammer icon on the touchscreen to knock them over. Think carefully about the direction and order in which to knock over the logs.
So, yeah, it's one of those types of puzzles. So, Professor, can you MacGyver up a bridge that will allow us to cross safely?
Also, my name is Herschel Layton.
I wonder. Also, I love to imagine that he can literally just push that boat on a whim. And yes, he can literally just easily topple over those logs easily like that.
He's just that good, Jovah.
Yes, I am.
Bloop. Alright. Now for the rest. It's hard for me to deem which is my favorite puzzle. Again, I'll give him credit. I do like a lot of the puzzles in this game.
Oh no, like this was actually one of the great things about this game gameplay-wise, that it was the first demonstration that they didn't necessarily need Akira Tago to move on with the Layton series, as demonstrated also later with Lady Layton. So fortunately, Akira Tago's passing was not a major problem when it comes to the series, at least.
Yeah,
like, in terms of
again.
the series continue, obviously it was a very sad thing because I mean the man was always synonymous with the Layton series. He's always, remember, in the original Layton saga, he's always the first one to get credited. Always. His puzzle master, Akira Tago, as the first person to credit in every Layton game. So he was a big thing, but fortunately, Level 5's designers were capable of carrying the torch.
Yes, now I can give my mistresses today's report. I can bask in her radiance and glory and sexiness. Thank you so much. I don't know how to repay you.
There's no trouble. Broken Bridge will be inconvenient to everyone, after all. You dropped my cup of tea.
By the way, what kind of tasks did the Great Witch give you two? I'm itching to know.
She gave me the great task of telling you to piss off and mind your business.
Huh?
Very specific.
What's on task? Let's see.
Oh, it applies to all shades.
Oh, that's it. We're puzzle solvers. Yep, that's right.
But you had to remember that is really
That's a
telling.
profession.
Eh?
That's a profession now.
Don't you see, the task is to solve puzzles for the rest of your life. Puzzle solvers? Ah, of course, that makes sense.
Does it?
I love how the thing that they have on their face is very similar to that thing that they use in the Phantom Menace to dive into the water.
Well,
Wait,
you
this
have
is a
both
more
performed your
appropriate
task.
The one that they used was a pocket breather.
Now I can go back to truly enjoying my task. Farewell.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're the guy with the least. You should know that that is potentially not a task.
Oops.
Whoa, he's really booking it. Man, it's we did something real good, huh, Professor?
Not used to it, eh, Maya?
That we did, Miss Faye. Now let us press on with our...
Well, that happened. But on we go still to solve more ventures. See you in the next part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See ya.
His job is literally task manager.